Thanks, Kristen. Good evening, everyone. Welcome, council, staff, and residents to the planning meeting for Tuesday, June the 2nd, 2026, and we're being streamed live. And I'll call the meeting to order with the land acknowledgement. We are meeting today on the traditional territory of many nations, including the Huron-Wendat, Anishinaabe, and the Haudenosaunee peoples. We acknowledge our shared obligation to respect, honor, and sustain these lands and the natural resources contained within. We honor their cultures and celebrate their commitment to this land. We would also like to acknowledge the Mohawk and Algonquin nations, whose traditional and unceded territory we are gathered upon today. Hastings County is situated on treaty land that is steeped in rich Indigenous history and home to many First Nations, Métis, and Inuit people. Next on the agenda is the approval of the agenda. And the recommendation is that the agenda of the planning meeting of the Council of the Municipality of Marmora Lake for Tuesday, June 2nd, 2026 be approved as presented. Can I have a mover and a seconder, please? Mike and Eric, any comments or discussion on the agenda? All in favor? That's carried. Is there any declaration of pecuniary interest? Being none. Next is the adoption of the planning meeting, the foregoing minutes of the planning meeting of the Council of the Municipality of Marmora Lake held Tuesday, May 5th, 2026 be approved as presented. Can I have a mover and a seconder? Ron? Second. Derek, any comments on those planning minutes? All in favor? That's carried. Public meetings. This is the time set aside to permit anyone in attendance to speak in favor or in opposition to the zoning amendments. Public input will be received by council if a person or public body would otherwise have an ability to appeal the decision of the municipal council for the municipality of Marmora Lake to the Ontario Land Tribunal, but the person or public body does not make oral submissions at a public meeting or make written submissions to the municipality of Marmora Lake before the bylaws pass, the person or public body is not entitled to appeal the decision. If a person or public body does not make oral submissions at a public meeting or make a written submission to the municipal council for the municipality of Marmora Lake before the bylaws passed, the person or public body may not be added as a party to the hearing of an appeal before the Ontario Land Tribunal unless, in the opinion of the tribunal, there are reasonable grounds to do so. So we're talking about the proposed zoning bylaw amendment D 14-04-2026 for 2297 Center Line Road, Marmora Lake. The subject lands are presently zoned marginal agriculture. The purpose of the application is to rezone the severed lots from marginal agricultural zone to rural residential zone to fulfill condition number 8 of consent to sever file numbers B34/25 and B35-25. So is there anyone here wishing to speak on this matter? No? Okay. Then we'll move on to the zoning amendment bylaw number 2026-33P. D14-04-2026, 2297 Center Line Road. Legal description is concession 9, part lot 21, part 1, reference plan 21R-2561. And the recommendation is that the planning staff report dated May 20th, 2026 regarding the zoning bylaw amendment file number D14-04-2026 for the property legally described as concession 9, part lot 21, part 1, reference plan 21R-2561 and municipally known as 2297 Center Line Road be received, and that the proposed zoning bylaw amendment 2026-33P for the lands legally described as concession 9, part lot 21, part 1, reference plan 21R-2561 and municipally known as 2297 Center Line Road be recommended for council adoption. Can I have a mover and a seconder for that, please? Eric? second, Mike. Any comments or questions on that? Emily from the county is online. If anybody has any questions. Being none, all in favor? That's carried. Planning reports, there are none. Severance applications and reports, none. So bylaw, next is bylaw number 2026-33P, zoning amendment 2297 Centerline Road. And the recommendation is that bylaw 2026-33P, being a bylaw to amend comprehensive zoning bylaw number 2003-11 as amended, be read and passed the second day of June 2026. Can I have a mover and a seconder for that bylaw, please? Mike, and second? Ron, any discussion on the bylaw? All in favor? That's carried. Confirming bylaw number 2026-35P. Recommendation that bylaw 2026-35P, being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of the planning meeting of council held on the second day of June 2026, be read and passed the second day of June 2026. Can I have a mover and a seconder for the confirming bylaw? Eric, and second? Ron, any discussion? All in favor? All in favor? Okay, that's carried. Motion to adjourn, Ron. Second, we get a seconder to adjourn. Mike? Thank you.
Thanks, Emily.